Hello guys, Lunar here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In this one we're going to talk about the Destiny 2 beta enemies. Thanks to LowlyDev, the person who brought us a list of all beta gear has now painstakingly compiled a list of all the game's beasts and other enemies and recorded weapon and shields for each, including elemental damages for the Cabal, Vex and Fallen. Now not only is that awesome to read through, but in the full game this could be potentially very useful for something like locked loadout missions, so you can easily see what types of weapons and gear to use. So I will link the page in the description, you should definitely bookmark that for the future. Anyway, let's take a look. In total, there are 18 Cabal enemies, including bosses as well. One thing I should point out is the enemy levels. In Destiny 3 there were 3 levels for the most part: normal, major and ultra. There was a 4th level in a few instances, but in Destiny 2 there is a clear 4-level system. Normal, indicated by the square next to this Legionary's health bar. The new level indicated on this Cabal Honored Legionary, which is a square with a pointed bottom. Major level, an orange triangle, and the skull and a diamond is ultra, so end bosses. I mention that as the pics have the level of each boss on them, so I don't have to mention it for every single enemy. I've tried to group these enemies though into different weapon types. The Legionnaire, Honored Legionnaire, Bloodguard Legionary, and Creth the Living Skyfire have the following weapon attacks: Cabal Melee with solar damage, Cabal Slug Rifle with solar damage, Cabal Slug Shotgun with arc damage, and they also have a grenade attack. The Bloodguard and Creth have arc shields. The Scion and Interceptor Pilot have the weapons Cabal Headhunter that does solar damage, Psionic Blast that does void damage, and solar damage weapon Cabal Slug Rifle. The Interceptor Pilot has a void shield. The Centurion, Honored Centurion, Impact Centurion, and Bloodguard Centurion, like the 4 Legionnaires, have similar weapons and abilities, which is Cabal Melee with Void Elemental Damage, Cabal Slug Shotgun with Void Elemental Damage, Projection Rifle with Solar Damage, and Cabal Bronto Cannon with Void Damage. The Centurion, Honored Centurion, and Impact Centurion have solar shields, and the Blood Centurion has a Void Shield. The Incendiar, Bloodguard Incendiar, and Pashk the Searing Will all have the same 3 attacks, each doing solar damage, as you could probably guess by their names: Cabal Magma Burn, Cabal Magma Launcher, and Cabal Magma Malfunction. The Bloodguard and Pashk have solar shields as well. So that leaves us with just individual enemy types who have different attacks. Phalanx, who has a Cabal Slug with solar damage, and a Cabal Shield. Not an elemental shield, a physical one, so that will absorb kinetic energy. War Beast, that has one attack called Cabal Claws Melee. The Gladiator, he knows Cabal Cerberus, the solar damage cleaver that he attacks you with. Colossus uses Cabal Cluster Missile and the Cabal Slug Launcher, both of them do arc damage. Finally, that leaves us with Bran the Unbent Blade. He knows Cabal Bronto Cannon doing void damage, and he also has an arc shield. In total there are 9 Vex, half of the amount of Cabal. The Goblin does a void damage melee attack and uses the Slap Rifle with solar damage. Fnatic also uses the Slap Rifle, but he uses the ability Detonation, and you might remember that from the end of the Inverged Spire, so watch out for those guys. The Harpy know the Void Elemental Vex Laser Rifle. Hobgoblins have solar damage line rifles. Quantum Goblins also have the same solar line rifle as well as Void Vex Laser Rifles. Minotaur, Quantum Minotaur, and Storm Minotaurs all have void shields. The Quantum Minotaurs also have a Vex Laser Rifle, the other 2 have Torch Hammers. Despite the name, they do void damage and not solar damage. That leaves us with this guy, Prothean Modular Mind. He has a void shield, uses the Void Torch Hammer and arc damage Slap Rifle. He also does other stuff like his lava floor thing and some kind of flash damage, but that's all still unknown for now. What the exact damages and effects, we will find out, and they will probably be added to this at some point. The Fallen have 13 enemy types in the beta. The Dragon know 3 attacks, each with arc damage: Shock Dagger, Shock Pistol, and Shock Grenade. The Pike Drag attacks with his pike, it does arc damage. The Shank and Resilient Shank know Shank Turret, doing arc damage as well. The Vandal knows Wire Rifle, again that one does arc damage to you. The Marauder, Resilient Marauder, Captain, and Resilient Captain all have Shrapnel Launchers, doing solar damage. The Captains also have Fallen Molten Welders, doing solar damage as well, along with arc shields. Servitors and Unyielding Servitors have the Servitor Eye Void damage attack, and both know the ability Servitor Aura. Finally, you have the Wretch and Resilient Wretch, both do arc damage melee attacks. So that is all the info from the beta Bestiary. Contains lots of useful info on the enemies of Destiny 2 and will contain a lot more in the future. It's not only fun to look through, but it's also useful. For example, if I'm doing the inverted Spire Strike, it's easy, but the final boss Protheon can be tough if you're not prepared. So thanks to this guide, I now know he has a Void Shield, so I'm going to make sure I have a weapon with Void damage when I'm fighting him. Also, it's worth noting during the fight the damage types of the enemies that spawn. Void Harpies in the first, Solar Goblins and Hobgoblins for the second round, so having 2 arc damage weapons in this boss fight, for example, is not going to be the best choice for you, as it's the least effective against all the enemy types. So that's something I now know thanks to this guide, and when it comes to doing things like lock loadouts, it's going to be even more useful. Anyway, that's about it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, a like and comment is appreciated. Also subscribe to see more similar Destiny 2 content on my channel. I will be back later today with some news about the farm after I've explored it, and maybe some other stuff as well. But with that being said, Guardians, stay awesome, and I will see you all next time.